I am Jerica Niniatan and I am going to answer those questions from chapter 6 and chapter 7. So for first we have is for chapter 6, it tackles about the development and quality plans. So for the first question is explain objectives of development and quality plans. So in objective and development quality plans is planning as a process has several objectives and each of which is meant to prepare adequate foundations for the following. We have is first is the scheduling development activities that will lead to the successful and timely completion of the project and estimating the required manpower resources and budget. Second, we have is recruiting the team members and allocating development resources according to activity schedules and manpower resource requirement is estimate. Third, we have is resolving development risk. Fourth is implementing required SQA activities. And number five is and last objective of development quality plans we have is providing management with data needed for project control. For the next question we have is identify elements of development plans. So there are 11 types of elements constitute a development plan. And these are first we have is the project products, the project interfaces, the project methodology and development tools, software development standards and procedures, mapping of the development process, project milestone, project staff organization, required required develop required develop facilities, development risk management actions, and we have the control methodology. And lastly is the project cost estimates. So next question is the identify the elements of the quality plan. So there are five elements of constitute a quality plan, and these are first we have is the quality goals, the planned review activities, the planned software tasks, the planned acceptance test for externally developed software, and last we have is the planned configuration management. And for the last question for chapter 6, we have is discuss benefits of preparing development and quality plans for integral projects. So it is recommend and there are three of it, which is the development department, the internal customer, and the firm. So it is recommended that internal projects undertaken on behalf of the other departments and for development of software packages geared toward the market be treated as regular projects. So this implies that full-scale development and scale plan and quality plans are to be prepared. Their benefits will include first the development department, as what I've said, that will avoid the development department will avoid losses incurred by unrealistic timetables and budgets, as well as the consequent damage to other projects and to the firm's reputation. Second benefit we have is the internal customer. The internal customer will enjoy reduced risk of late completion and budget overruns in addition to and by improved project control and coordination with the developer. Third benefit and last benefit we have is the firm. The firm will enjoy reduced risk of its software products late entry into the market, reduced risk of a decline in its reputation resulting from late supply, and reduced risk of budget overruns. We are now done at chapter 6. Let's move on now to chapter 7. Chapter 7. For chapter 7, it tackles about integrating quality activities in the project life cycle. For the first question of chapter 7, we have is describe describe various describe various software development models and discuss the difference between them. So there are various of software development models. And these are the software development lifecycle, or what we call the SDLC model. We also have the prototyping model, the spiral model, and the object-oriented model. So the difference between them is, first, let's go first to the software development life cycle. So for the SDLC, it is the classical model, and it is still applicable today. And the models display the major building blocks for the entire development process, described as a linear sequence. An SDLC begins with requirements definition and ends with regular system operation and maintenance. For the prototyping model, on the other hand, is based on replacement of one or more SDLC model phases by an evolutionary process, where software prototypes are used for communication between the developer and the users and the customers. And the third model we have is the spiral model. So when we say spiral model, it provides a methodology for ensuring effective performance at each of the SDLC model phases. It involves an iterative process that integrates customer comments and change requirements, risk analysis and resolution, and software system planning and engineering activities. So we also have another model that is related to a spiral model, and that is what we call the advanced spiral model. This kind of model is the win-win model. It places extra emphasis on communication and negotiation between customer and developer. It is called win-win model because the customer wins by improving chances to receive a system that satisfies most of his needs, while the developer wins by improving chances of completing the project within budgetary and timetable constraints. So the last model we have is the object-oriented model. So when we say object-oriented model, it incorporates large-scale reuse of software by integrating reusable module into new software systems. So for the next question we have different as is to explain different aspects of verification, validation, qualification for quality assurance activities. So we have verification. So for verification, a verification is a process of evaluating a system or component to determine whether the products of a given development phase satisfy the conditions imposed at the start of the phase. Validation, on the other hand, is the process of evaluating a system or component during or at the end of the development process to determine whether it satisfies specified requirements utilized to detect the errors in that software application. And lastly, we have the qualification. The qualification is the process to use to determine whether a system or components is suitable for operational use. So that is for aspects of verification, validation, qualification for quality assurance activities. So for the last question for chapter 7 is we have is to describe the model as for SQA defect removal effectiveness and cost. So the model deals with two quantitative aspects of an SQA plan designed for a specific project. We have the total effectiveness of defect removal, and the second one is the total cost of defect removal. So the model is based on the following assumptions, and these assumptions are: first, in the first bullet we have is the development process is linear and sequential, like the waterfall model. And second bullet is we have a number of new defects are introduced in each development phase, but development phase. Third, we have various review and test software assurance activities serve as filters, removing a percentage of the entering defects while allowing the rest to pass to the next software assurance activity. The third assumptions that the model has is incoming defects are the sum of defects passed from the former quality assurance activity together with the new defects created in the current development phase. Second to the last assumptions we have is the cost of defect removal is calculated by multiplying the number of defects removed by the relative cost of removing a defect. And last assumption for the model we have is defects passed to the customer will be detected by him or her. Their full removal at this phase will incur a heavy cost. So that is for my explanation for this questions of chapter 6 and chapter 7. Thank you for listening.